this is a horrendous angle, but we're going to run with it because we're talking about Star Trek and I don't give a fuck. So, Star Trek, we're going to rank them real quick. We're going to go TNG because it's the best one. It's the one I grew up on. I remember when it was getting ready to launch, there was months and months of commercials leading up to it, and it was a whole event. And then, my family all gathered around the TV that night, and we watched it, and they went to Farpoint Station, and you met Data, and it was like that they separated the ship. Who the fuck separates a ship? What the shit? And then that was badass. That was cool as fuck. And then so we're going to go Next Generation because that's the one I grew up on. And then you got TOS because none of this would exist without that or Gene Roddenberry. And then you got Voyager because Captain Janeway's a badass. She drops everybody in the Delta Quadrant by accident and then brings them all home safely except for like a couple. Seska, she's a bit of a loser anyway. Don't need her. She can stay where the fuck she was. And you got DS9. I mean, it wasn't as popular as the rest, but there's a reason because the rest of them show that there was a future with hope, but DS9 shows that there was still war and hate and violence and all those things and suspicion and mistrust and all that. But DS9, if you actually look at it for what it was a fantastic version of Star Trek. And then you got Lower Decks, and then the rest of them are shit. I mean, Discovery. I'm glad Lower Decks made it so Discovery didn't take place in the Kirk timeline because it was a fucking horrendous show. I don't know why they did it. Strange New World's not bad, but I can never get through. I've been trying to get through season 1 since it launched, and I keep getting like 2-3 episodes in and just bailing because it's like, fuck you. Anyway, what I do feel bad about is the fucking Klingons because they show up in a flying dick. Look at that ship. It's a dick. It is. I don't care. So they're showing up because they got some fucking self-esteem issues and they're flying dick, talking about how they're going to fight everybody, and then they get their ass kicked. Maybe that's why they show up in a giant flying dick because they keep getting their ass kicked by everybody, and they're like, "Oh, look how tough we are. We fucking show up in a giant fucking phallic symbol," and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are so tough," and you talk about kicking all our asses. Now you're all dead. Look at Next Generation Klingons. I mean, a sideways glance, these guys are getting thrown across the fucking room. And Worf, he was the fucking captain of the team. He was the fucking head of the gymnastics team, fucking getting thrown around. Somebody beam onto the ship and he just throw himself across the deck because he knew it was coming. Bit of a bitch, that one. Until DS9 and then Picard, especially in Picard, he was a badass. But TNG Klingons, they were no more fucking fearful than Tribbles. I mean, Tribbles did more damage than Klingons. Klingons are just, bit weak. Yeah. It's like they're trying to make up for something. Showing up in their giant fucking dick. But here's a cool little thing that I just learned recently is the woman who plays Loxana Troi, the voice of the computer, and I forget the character she was in the original series, that's actually Gene Roddenberry's wife. That is a cool little fact that I just learned, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that already knew that, but I just learned that like 2 weeks ago, and that is fucking cool as shit. So anyway, y'all have a good day. Unless you're a Klingon, then just fall over because someone acknowledged you exist.